Hello there and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Titandala with Charlie right here on QTV, and thank you so much for joining me this week. And like every other week, I bring you a special guest in the studio. My guest today is a beautiful, such a beauty joining me right now, and I always get excited when I have a beauty in the studio. She's a beauty queen. She was Miss Tourism, also won Miss University Africa, is it?
Miss University Africa
Miss University Africa Zambia, and right now she's talking to us because she's going to be representing the country at the Miss International 2019. Luwi Kawanda, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Great to have you on the show for the very first time.
I'm so glad to be
I don't know
here.
how you have never been on the show.
I'm also wondering, Charlie, how come?
Yeah, because you were Miss Tourism in 2016.
Yes.
How did that one go?
That was a great experience for me. We held it in Livingston.
Yeah.
And it was just overwhelming. We got to see so many tourism sites, learn so much about our heritage.
Yeah.
And it was just an amazing experience. Throughout my reign, I got to know more about Zambia.
Yeah, and one thing with Miss Tourism is the fact that it brings out the Zambia's rich heritage, and some of the things that the contestants were saying, like I would sit and like, oh wow, that's in Zambia, and then and I think it's a great thing.
It's really amazing. I got to know so many new things. I got to find out about places I had no idea we had.
Yeah.
It was actually after Miss Tourism Zambia that I said, I'm having my honeymoon in Zambia.
Yes, absolutely.
We have so many beautiful places.
There's a lot of exotic places. And just at that, is Victoria Falls Zambian or Zimbabwe?
It's Zambian. Like,
oh, okay. Now
okay, we do have a shared heritage, but then I'm Zambian.
There's
so
always this fight that
say
Victoria Falls is, no, it's in Zimbabwe. The better view is in Zambia. No, it's in Zambia. But is it Zambian or is it Zimbabwe?
It is Zambian.
Cool. Yeah, so no more debate about that one. All right, so for a lot of people, they're actually probably seeing you for the very first time. Who's Luwi?
Well, Luwi is a Kasuli.
I
I'm
see.
a last born, and from a family of 3, I have 2 big brothers who have been my superheroes. I love
You're the only girl?
Yes, I'm the only girl.
Oh, wow.
Yes, but I'm not spoiled.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you just had to clear that out.
I had to clear it out. It's always a question. Yes, so I am born to both my parents. I was born in Botswana.
Right.
Then I moved to Zambia in my 8th grade, and fast forward, did my university at the University of Zambia, where I got a Bachelor of Arts degree in Public Administration with Development Studies.
Awesome.
So I am basically a bubbly girl. I call myself a goofball.
Yeah. And
I laugh a lot. Like,
do you always act like the big sister to your 2 brothers? You being the only girl and the last born?
No.
No.
Like,
yeah.
They do. One thing I appreciate is throughout my life they have really taught me love, respect, and care.
Yeah.
They've never bullied me. They've always been there for me, and also they taught me perseverance.
Yeah. Because
I always wanted to go where they were, and they wouldn't let me, but I persevered. And
and I'm sure you were not bullied because you always had 2 big brothers to call upon, so yeah.
No, that's why I call them my superheroes. I was never bullied.
Ah, absolutely amazing. So for you, when did you discover that you could actually do pageants and modeling? Or was it a passion that you've always wanted to do?
Well, I modeled for my first time in my 8th grade.
Grade 8?
In my 8th grade. Yeah. And it was impromptu. Like, it wasn't something I had an interest in, something I thought I'd ever pursue. Yeah. It was just, I was a new girl at the school from another country, and I had some pretty long hair. Yes. And I feel like it made me a bit popular. And everybody was like, you should try it, you should try it. Actually, it was peer pressure.
Ah, peer pressure. Good peer pressure.
Good peer pressure. Like, yeah. So
Did you win then?
I won.
Wow.
Like, from trying.
Like, for the very first time, and then you just win?
For the very first time. And I still didn't know what I was doing when I won.
Yeah, but it turns out to be good, though.
But yeah, so I did a few more pageants in my high school, and then I stopped. Like I said, it wasn't something I thought I was going to pursue. Then in my 3rd year at university, I was actually going through a very low time. I used to feed a lot of negative thoughts and whatnot, and one day I just told myself, no, Luwi, enough is enough. Like, I just snap out of it. Like, and that's something I thank God for. He's given me such a strong mindset.
Right.
So I was just like, you need to get out of this box you're putting yourself in.
Right.
And one way I thought of doing it was through pageants.
Wow.
And that's when I took part in my first national pageant, which was Miss University, Africa, Zambia. And by God's grace, I won.
Wow.
And from there, it was just...
Yeah, and it's then now that you've mentioned it, it's one thing that a lot of people are battling with right now, and you find that it's not predominantly in the news or people talk about it that much. Like a lot of people always have I want to call it anxiety. Yes. Or depression, or put it under that umbrella. A lot of people go through that. Really, what are some of the remedies? Like, how did you manage to get out of that? Well, apart from doing pageants as an escape.
Well, the advice I always give, because this is something I too have passed through.
Right.
And something I noticed is it's really in your mindset, because so many people can come to you and say the right things and give you the best advice. However, if you do not want to change, if you do not want to work on it, you're not going to be helped.
Right.
No matter how much you hear, no matter how much you do, as long as you're not working on getting... much
counseling you go through.
No matter how much counseling you go through, it begins with you and your mindset. You need to set your mind to say, I need to fix this. And once you tell yourself you need to fix this, the counseling is going to help. Your friends are going to help.
Right.
And you also need to find something that you're happy doing. Find something that will distract you, something that will make you feel like you have purpose, something that will give you more meaning.
Yeah.
As you pursue this thing we call life.
Yeah. What made you go through that curve, though?
I really am not so sure how I got there, because I was quite a strong-headed child.
Yeah.
I was quite a strong-headed child throughout to my uni. And when I got there, I think maybe it was just age.
Yeah.
You know, we can't really say that everybody has to go through
adulting is quite straight. I don't like it. I don't enjoy being an adult. Like adulting is just a full-time job.
I think all the things that came with adulting, the responsibilities that came, and everything that surrounded me at that particular moment was just a bit overwhelming, maybe. And I started seeing myself in a negative light. But then I thank God I passed that phase, and I just pray that anybody else going through that phase reaches out for help and actually tries to get out of it. You're
strong. You're strong. 2016, you went on to be crowned Miss Tourism. It was quite a mantle, because I think it's one of the biggest pageants in the country, looking at the gravity of the responsibility that is tasked with the Queen. What are some of the things that you had to do?
Well, as Miss Tourism Zambia, I had to be an ambassador for Zambia's tourism.
Right.
So I had to make sure I'm educating people about what we have, our heritage sites, our monuments, and everything about Zambia's tourism. I had to also attend events with the Zambia Tourism Agency and also with the Ministry of Tourism and Arts.
Right.
I got to experience so many things which are so exciting, like an animal walk and helicopter ride, just to show me the safari and everything.
Yeah.
It was...
Which animals have you gotten like real close to?
Leopard.
Only? Not lion?
I'm scared of lions. And you know, that's funny.
You should be more scared of leopards than lions.
You know, lions are actually my favorite animal.
Wow.
But I can't get close to one. At a point, I actually thought that I was going to have a lion as a pet.
Oh, wow. Good
and
luck.
Then later on, I was like, no, it's going to eat you, Luwi.
Yeah. Anyways, we're still together right here on Titandala with Charlie. Take a small break and we'll be right back. Don't go away. Joining me in studio is Luwi Kawanda. She'll be representing Zambia at the Miss International 2019. I'm so excited to have her in the studio. And so let's talk about Miss International Zambia. You were explaining to me earlier how this is one of the biggest pageants in the world. And I think I had one of the former queens, Brandina, was on the show. And this time around, it's you. How did you get the spot to go out there and just represent? Because I can tell you what, they actually chose the right candidate. I know what I'm talking about.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we had a screening process.
Right.
The organization called out for applications for all those interested, and then they did an online screening process. And by God's grace, I was the one selected and appointed as Miss International Zambia.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. What are your expectations going out there? This is like your first international pageant.
This is my first.
Lord, I've been nervous.
I'm not nervous at all. Maybe I'm too excited.
Yeah.
Maybe the nerves are going to kick in when I'm in Tokyo.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I'm just really excited to be able to go out and represent my country because it's been a dream of mine. So I'm not going to go out there as Luwi or Mr. Kawanda's daughter.
Yeah.
I love to tell people I'm Mr. Kawanda's daughter just to make him feel proud.
Right.
But I'm going out there to represent Zambia. So it just gives me such great pride, and you know, I feel like I'm going to create a landmark, like something to be taught in history.
Absolutely.
I'm really aiming to make a big difference out there.
Yeah. How many countries are you competing against?
Currently, we have over 60 countries. More countries are being added as we go on before we all go to Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah. So I know it's going to be a great responsibility to carry the whole flag out there, and hopefully everything goes as planned. Is there a way people can vote, or how do people participate?
At the moment, we have not been given any information about the voting, but immediately it's out. Definitely, we're going to announce on our Instagram page, Miss International Zambia, as well as on Facebook, and also on my personal page, Luwi Kawanda Zambia.
Yeah.
On Instagram, Miss Luwi.
Absolutely amazing, and I'm always in support of pageants. Like I vote, like every time a Zambian queen goes out to represent the country, I make the most noise on Twitter. I need an award. Just saying.
I need that, Charlie. I'll need that.
Yeah, most definitely. So how does your family take this whole pageant thing? And I know you're really well educated, obviously still have dreams and goals. How do your family and friends take? Family especially, because most of the time they're the ones that say, okay.
Well, I'm blessed that I have such a supportive family.
Oh yeah?
Like before, I always involve, especially my mom.
Who's your biggest cheerleader?
My big brother, Chilemu.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he cheers me like, sometimes I even feel shy to respond. Like, you're too much, relax. Like,
Yeah.
But he's like my biggest cheerleader.
Right.
But then they're all equally really supportive. Just, I think Chilemu is the loudest because of social media.
Yeah.
But my mom, I consider my best friend. She's the one who, she's my go-to, my number one go-to. So even before I began modeling, I actually asked mom, like, Mommy, I'd like to try this. Is it okay? And then she was like, Luwi, sorry, I like to impersonate her voice.
That's how she speaks,
like,
though.
she has a small voice. So she's like, my daughter, but you're a Christian. And then I was like, but how is it going to affect my Christianity? Like, isn't this a platform I can use to even spread, like, radiate God's glory through me?
Yeah.
And then it took her a day or two. She prayed about it. And then she came and actually told me.
Such a prayerful woman.
Yes, she's,
wow,
and
amazing.
It's embedded in me. Like, it's just come through the generation, and now I'm just like her.
Awesome.
I lean in my faith a lot.
Awesome.
Yes.
And speaking of which, a lot of Christians don't stand with pageantry because they think, oh, women are not supposed to be exposing themselves in such a manner. What's your take on that, you being a Christian?
Well, as a Christian, I always say your relationship is between you and God. And through everything, yes, we must be cautious and we must be able to show people that we are Christians, but then we must also avoid being too condemning and too judging, because I feel like that's a big problem that has made so many leave the faith or not even join the faith because they fear being condemned or being judged. Right. We have to be supportive. We have to let people do what they love. And as a Christian, just be moderate about it, like, and look at the meaning. Go further than just what you're seeing. Know what it's about. Like pageants, for instance, people just see it as vanity. They just see what's happening on stage. They see swimsuits. It's like they just magnify. They just magnify that and ignore everything else. All the beauty of beauty pageants, and it's something that I want to do during my reign, to let people know that it's more than a pretty face, it's more than a physique, it's more than the height, but it's about the impact that you're going to make during your reign.
All right, that's a pretty candid explanation I've gotten there, and sometimes I feel like a lot of Christians to judge, because I think I've been closer to the modeling industry for quite some time, and I understand what the benefit is of it than just looking from a distance. I'm glad you just brought that out.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely amazing. So, what do people expect when you go out there? Are we expecting the crown back home?
Of course. Like,
yeah.
We're expecting the crown back home, and we're also expecting to be able to spread a message, the message which Miss International Zambia is trying to advocate for,
right,
which is putting an end to gender-based violence and sexual abuse. So this is a prominent problem. Even if we have seen a significant rise in the recent past, people speaking up about it, we can't deny it's still there, and we still have people justifying it. We still have people afraid to speak up. So as Miss International Zambia, I'm hoping that I can be a teacher for the unaware, for the people who are still not sure of their rights or where to go. I'm hoping that I'll be a voice for the voiceless. I'll be able to speak out for them, and also just a friend for all in need, because sexual abuse and violence can be really detrimental to someone spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. So I'm just trying to be there for them, even as I will be going through my reign as Miss International Zambia. So actually, I wanted to officially announce on your show that I'll be beginning a campaign called Brothers Keeper.
Right.
So in this campaign, I want to spread a message of putting an end to sexual abuse by looking out for your brother or your sister, because anyone who's abused could easily be your mother, could easily be your sister, could easily be your niece, your daughter, your brother, because it happens to both males and females. So I'd like this campaign to spread a message of looking out for one another. You know, you go out, you see maybe a lady's being sexually harassed because of the way she's dressed, or maybe because she's in a drunk state. You see somebody harassing her, you be your brother's keeper and go and help that person. You see your mom or your dad being abused, you be a brother's keeper and report that. You know, I just want people to work on looking out for one another.
Absolutely.
And hence my campaign, Brothers Keeper.
Sounds amazing, and what a timely theme, especially for your pageant, Miss International, this year, and also your project also just marries in together. I just want to ask you this question. There's this news that's trending right now about this banker woman who's been promising jobs and ended up sleeping with 200 men, promising them jobs. What's your take on that? Because like a lot of people are like, okay, you know what? There's a lot of men that do that. That's sexism. Why did you have to expose her like that? Because there's a lot of men that sleep with other women and promise them jobs, and then nobody talks about it. What's your take on that one?
Well, I like to call a spade a spade.
Right.
So whether men do it, it doesn't and they're not exposed, it does not justify it. Their time has just not come. But we have several males who have been exposed for abusing women or taking advantage of their positions, and they have been reprimanded for that. They have been apprehended for that.
Right.
So if a woman is doing it, she shouldn't be justified because she's female. It's not sexist at all.
Right.
It is wrong, and if she's doing something wrong, she should get what she had. Like, she should get the justification for it.
Absolutely. 200. Wow. I was just like, anyways. Luwi, gotta wish you all the best, and go out there and fly that flag high, and we'll continue supporting you. Please and keep shining.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
All right, I've been talking to Luwi Kawanda, supermodel, and she'll be representing Zambia at the Miss International Zambia. Up next is J-Rocks. Join me on set. Don't go away.